Our episode today is about a terrifying true story that happened in Arizona, USA. Maybe the next episode will be in your area. Please let us know in the comment box where you were watching our episode from. And if you have any true stories that happened in your life, you can tell us. You can email us. Our email address is midnightstaticfiles@gmail.com. We will create an episode about the story that you send us, which the whole of America will know. So without further ado, let's get started on our episode today. For more than 40 years, truck drivers traveling a lonely stretch of Route 66 in Arizona have reported the same terrifying encounter. A woman in a white dress stands beside the road, smiling. She never asks for help. She never waves. But anyone who stops to speak with her is never seen the same way again. Some disappear forever, and those who return all tell the same impossible story. It's the end of summer. During the day, the desert temperature can reach over 40 degrees Celsius, but at night, the same desert becomes unusually cold. A long stretch of Route 66 is empty for miles. There's nothing in sight except an abandoned gas station, a dilapidated motel, or a rusty sign. Ryan Miller, 32, is a veteran long-haul truck driver. He's been hauling goods from one end of America to the other for nearly a decade. He spent thousands of nights alone on the highway. He doesn't believe in ghost stories. He believes that fatigue and the monotony of the road can deceive the human eye. One October night, Ryan was driving from California to Texas. According to his GPS, if he took the shortcut on Route 66, he would save at least an hour and a half. 1:48 a.m., an old country song was playing on the radio. As far as the eye could see, there was only the dark road and the light of the headlights. Suddenly, the radio stopped playing. Static. Then a very faint female voice was heard. "Slow down." Ryan frowned and turned off the radio. Signal problem again, he thought to himself. Just then, the truck's headlights illuminated a woman standing on the right side of the road. White dress, long black hair, arms at her sides. She wasn't looking at the road. She was looking directly at Ryan's truck. And she was smiling. An unusually calm, steady smile. Ryan slowed the truck and passed her. Looking in the rearview mirror, he saw that the woman was still standing in the same place, in the same pose, with the same smile. She didn't ask for help. She didn't even make a gesture. Ryan shook his head and looked ahead again. After about a mile, he suddenly slammed on the brakes. Because on the side of the road ahead, standing there again was the same woman, the same white dress, the same smile, the same posture. Impossible. No one could pull up in front of his truck in just 1 minute. Ryan's chest began to feel uneasy. He didn't stop this time. He stepped on the accelerator. But 5 minutes later, on the next bend in the road, the same woman was standing there again. This time, she slowly tilted her head. Then, for the first time, she moved her lips, even though the windows were closed. Ryan could clearly hear. "You're late." Ryan's hand tightened on the steering wheel. He tried to convince himself that it was probably fatigue. After 10 hours of driving, people's eyes can be blurry. He turned up the truck's air conditioning, splashed cold water on his face, and even slapped his cheek lightly. But the discomfort didn't go away. About 15 minutes later, he saw the neon sign of an old gas station in the distance. Harris Fuel and Diner. Half the lights were out. Only 2 cars in the parking lot. The silence of the desert all around. Ryan stopped the truck and got inside. Behind the counter, an old man in his 70s was making coffee. Ryan smiled slightly and said, "Does anyone live on this street? Wearing white?" The old man's hand stopped. The coffee cup was steaming, but the inside of the store suddenly felt cold. After a few seconds of silence, he asked, Was she laughing? Ryan's smile faded. Yeah. How did you know? The old man took a deep breath. Boy, you're getting off this road tonight. Ryan frowned. Why? The old man pulled out an old newspaper clipping from under the counter. The title: Young Bride Vanishes on Route 66, October 1983. The picture shows a young woman, white wedding dress, long black hair, that same calm smile on her face. Ryan's chest heaved. I saw it. The old man nodded slowly. Hundreds of people have said the same thing over the past 40 years. He said that one night in 1983, a newlywed named Emily Dawson was driving home with her husband after a wedding ceremony. The car was swept off Route 66 in a huge dust storm. The husband's body was found. But Emily was never found. From then on, drivers began seeing the same woman late at night, always dressed in white, always smiling, always standing on the side of the road. But the scariest thing was something else. The old man pointed to an old photo hanging on the wall. There were 6 other photos of truck drivers. Under each one, a date. And one word: missing. They all, the old man said, stopped after seeing her. Ryan put down his coffee cup. I didn't stop. The old man looked into his eyes and said very softly, No. But she, and said very softly, No. But she talked to you. A cold current ran through Ryan's body. What do you mean? Before the old man could answer, the bell hanging above the shop door rang on its own. Ting. They both looked at the door. The door slowly opened. No one outside, just the desert wind. Then, beyond the glass windows of the shop, across the street, standing the same woman, the same white dress, the same smile. But this time she wasn't alone. Right behind her, in the darkness, standing 6 vague human shadows, and all looking at Ryan. Ryan stared out the window for a few seconds. The woman standing outside didn't move. The 6 figures behind her were also still, but all their eyes seemed to be focused on Ryan at the same time. Ryan quickly got out. The parking lot was empty. There was no one on the other side of the road. There was no sound except the desert wind. He looked around in surprise. The people who had been clearly visible just seconds before seemed to have disappeared into thin air. The old man came out of the shop and said in a low voice, I told you, she never stays in one place for long. He took Ryan inside and opened an old wooden box. Inside were police reports, newspaper clippings, and a few handwritten diary pages. One of the reports said that a state trooper had seen the same woman during a night patrol in 1991. He stopped his car to talk. His dash cam recorded everything until he stopped the car. But then, the video only has 7 minutes of static, and when the picture comes back, the car is parked in the same spot. The engine is still running. The driver's door is open. But the officer is gone. He never came back. Another report showed that in 2008, a truck driver miraculously returned alive. But he said the same thing until the end of his life. He wanted to take me somewhere. If I don't go, they get angry. Ryan sat down with his hand on his forehead. Who are they? The old man was silent for a moment and said, The people standing behind him. They are not ghosts. Ryan looked at him in surprise. The old man slowly said, They were all lost people like you once. First they saw that woman, then they followed her. Then, they can never go back to their old lives. Just then, Ryan's truck horn blared on its own. They both ran outside. The truck's headlights turned on by themselves. The engine was supposed to be off. The keys were in Ryan's pocket, yet the headlights were on, and that light was shining straight down a certain side of the road, far away, in the middle of the desert, a narrow dirt road, which didn't exist on the GPS. At the beginning of that road stood a woman in white. This time, he raised his hand for the first time. He gestured. "Come." Ryan's chest pounded. Just then, his truck's GPS turned on by itself. There was no road on the screen, no map, only a destination was flashing. Destination, home. But the distance below was written. 0.0 miles. Ryan stared at the screen, confused. He's not home. So, which home is the GPS talking about? Ryan's eyes kept darting back and forth between the GPS screen and the mysterious dirt road. The screen still flashed with only one word. Destination. Home. But he had memorized all the addresses, all the routes, all the maps of his life. There was no way such a road could exist on this stretch of Route 66. The old man suddenly grabbed Ryan's shoulder and said, "Don't go that way." Ryan asked, "What if I don't go?" The old man's answer was short. "Then maybe he'll come back alive." "And if I do?" The old man was silent for a few seconds and then said, "Then he'll know the truth. But not everyone comes back after knowing the truth." Ryan decided he wasn't going to go any further. He got into his truck, started the engine, and turned toward the highway. But after only a few minutes of driving, he realized something was terribly wrong. The same broken gas station on the side of the road, the same rusty sign, the same old man. He's back in the same spot again. Ryan turned the car around and drove in the opposite direction. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Same gas station again. This time the old man wasn't standing outside the store. The store was closed too. The glass was broken. The sign was half down. It looked like no one had been here in years. Ryan's heart was pounding. He took out his phone. No network. No maps on the GPS. He looked at his watch. The time, 1:48 a.m., the exact time he'd first seen the woman. But at least an hour had passed. Time hadn't moved. Just then the truck's radio turned on by itself. Static. Then an old news broadcast. October 18th, 1983. Authorities continue searching for missing bride Emily Dawson after yesterday night's crash on Route 66. Ryan was stunned. This was 40-year-old news. Suddenly, a layer of dust began to accumulate on the truck's windshield. Dust is normal in the desert. But this dust, red. And on that dust, an invisible finger slowly began to write a sentence. "You should have stopped." Ryan opened the door in panic and stepped outside. An unusual silence surrounded him. The woman in the white dress in the distance was no longer on the side of the road. She was standing right in the middle of the road, smiling. Slowly, he took one step forward, then another. Ryan started to back away, but just then he realized someone was standing behind him. He turned around and saw. Not 6. Now there were a dozen people there, all dressed in different period costumes. Some had truck keys in their hands. Some were wearing police uniforms. Some had old cameras in their hands. Some had panic on their faces. But they were all pointing in the same direction. Ryan slowly looked ahead. The woman in white was no longer smiling. For the first time, tears were in her eyes. She said very softly, "Run." And at that very moment, out of the complete darkness behind her, someone started to emerge. Ryan stood still. In front of him was the woman in white, and behind her, a figure slowly emerged from the darkness. First, a black hat appeared, then a long coat, then a human-like body. But a face. There was no face. Where there should be a face, there was only deep darkness, as if light couldn't reach it. The surrounding temperature suddenly dropped. The desert wind stopped completely. The faceless figure began to walk towards Ryan without making a sound. And then something amazing happened. The woman in white, Emily Dawson, stood in front of Ryan for the first time, as if trying to protect him. She said in a trembling voice, "She's not looking for me." She's looking for people who have lost their way. Those who are afraid, those who are alone, those who stop. Ryan realized that Emily was not the source of this curse. He himself is a prisoner. He has been standing on the same side of the road for more than 40 years, just to warn others. Suddenly, Ryan remembered something the old man had said. If she calls you, never go to her. But Emily never called. Instead, he said at the last moment, "Run." Ryan didn't hesitate a moment longer. He jumped into the truck and started the engine. Surprisingly, this time the truck started immediately. He started running down the highway at full speed. He glanced in the rearview mirror and saw Emily was still standing in the middle of the road, but this time she wasn't smiling. She slowly raised her hand, as if to say goodbye, and the faceless shadow behind her disappeared into the darkness. The next morning, Arizona State Police found Ryan's truck parked at a rest area. She was alive. But his dashcam video baffles investigators. The entire night's footage shows Ryan driving down the highway. There's no woman anywhere, no gas station, no mysterious road. But from 1:48 a.m. to 3:12 a.m., one thing is the same in every frame of the video. In the back window of the truck, a woman is standing, white dress, long black hair. But she's not looking at Ryan. She's looking at the far darkness of the truck, as if she's still trying to hold someone back. Ryan never drove a truck on Route 66 at night again. A year later, he quit his truck driving job. In an interview, he was asked, "Do you believe that woman was a ghost?" Ryan answered after a long silence, "No. If it was a ghost, I probably wouldn't have survived. I think he's a protector." Whatever. The real fear was behind him.